Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so we got a very long, detail-oriented show for you all today. Hopefully you guys are here to enjoy it, all right? And hopefully you guys have a good time and get something out of it, all right? Shout out to everybody who's in the building early. If you guys can hear me okay and everything is looking good, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me or things are not looking very good, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face and I'll try to fix it. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building early, all right? Shout out to Miss Nisi. What's good with it, Miss Nisi? Good to see you as always. Shout out to my man, Jada Informant. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Volvo 2 Love. Good to see you. Shout out to my player from the Himalayas, Carlton Way. What's good with you, bro? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all throw some flames, some like emojis, and some radiation emojis in the chat for Brooklyn Queen being a ducket enforcer. Definitely appreciate it. All right. So we getting close to 500 subs on this channel. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you guys please share the video out. Also, hit that bell if you're not subscribed. It would be great if by the end of the day we could get to that 500. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DeAndre. Make sure y'all throw some flames in the chat for DeAndre. Some likes for him, like enforcing. Absolutely. And shout out to Carlton Way. Facts. We are the monolith. We are the monolith. I got another monolith stream coming up for you guys tonight too. You guys like it. You know what I'm saying? And then we got the debate tonight. You know what I'm saying? So before we get into what's going on in Springfield, Ohio, the first thing that I want to ask you guys is, have people heard about what's going on in Springfield, Ohio? If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, give me a thumbs down. Why am I asking that? I'm asking that because we're going to do this. We're going to take a look at what's going on in Chicago. Chicago is down very bad right now. Very bad right now. And I'm going to show you exactly why with this video.
Now to the city of Chicago's first steps to plug $1 billion budget gap.
A hiring freeze just announced by the mayor, meaning...
Did you guys hear that? Off rip, down bad, down $1 billion. They have $1 billion budget deficit in Chicago. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Where do you all think that budget deficit came from? Shout out to my man, Crew Reality. What's good with it, bro? Yo, make sure that you leave a comment after one of the streams or after one of the videos, and I will get you rinsed up over here, all right? Facts. You already know what it is. Shout out to DeAndre. What do that mean? Unsustainable. How long have we been saying it over here? You know what I'm saying?
Now to the city of Chicago's first steps to plug $1 billion budget gap.
A hiring freeze just announced by the
Shout out
mayor,
to
meaning
David
open
Brown.
positions
What's good with
can
it, bro?
no longer be filled.
Our Sabrina Franco
Shout out
is
to
always
Tedra.
investigating. And Sabrina, that's just one of the steps put in place today.
A hiring freeze, but also a limitation on non-essential travel and overtime pay. We wanted to know what jobs were actually impacted and how the city plans to pay for the rest of its debts.
People's level of frustration is at an all-time high.
Now, how many people remember how much money was spent on Favorite Healthcare Staffing, which is the company that's been managing the migrant crisis in Chicago? You guys remember?
City leaders are weeks away from their 2025 budget negotiations. Before that, they're learning how the city plans to make up for an almost $250,000 gap in spending, pulling the reins in on overtime, travel expenses, and hiring city workers.
What traveling are we doing based on this significant budget gap? Why is that just now being discussed when we're going to be starting budget hearings in a matter of weeks? What I hear more and more in my community is, I don't want to see a massive property tax increase.
The city is looking at an almost $223 million deficit at the end of this fiscal year.
$223 million deficit. Isn't that about the exact amount that was spent on Favorite Healthcare? If that's about the amount that was spent on Favorite Healthcare, give me a thumbs up. If it's not, then give me a thumbs down. Also, for the people watching on the replay, gang, make sure you hit this comment up. Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. What's good with it, bro? And yo, make sure you see, shout out to my man, AB. You see how it says he didn't get a notification? On this channel, I have above average notifications. I have 43% of the people subscribed to hit the bell icon twice. So shout out to y'all, first of all, for hitting the bell icon twice. But even at that high rate, which is above YouTube average, because the high end of YouTube average is 25, people still are not getting the notifications. Make sure that you guys join that Discord. Make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel over on Rumble. And also, if one of the mods could put the link to the Undocumented Bros channel in the chat, make sure you guys are subscribed over there as well. All right.
in addition to a $982 million shortfall in 2025. Previously, the city has in part credited those numbers to drops in tax revenue.
It's a sizable deficit, but it's not the largest ones I've seen during my tenure.
We asked Alderman Jason Irvin, chair of the city's budget committee, what non-essential travel city leaders are doing.
I really couldn't give you an answer as to what. I don't know if that may be conferences or other places that people would go.
He tells us that most Chicago police and fire jobs are exempt from the hiring freeze, especially those roles it would likely impact jobs like these, desk jobs listed on the city's website.
The freeze, as announced today, only impacts the city of Chicago. It doesn't impact CTA, CPS, the Park District, or other entities, just the city of Chicago.
Mayor Brendan Johnson previously ran on not raising property taxes, though in a late August media briefing on the budget, he would not deny that he was considering a raise.
So it looked like we got another flip-flopper. If it looks like we got another flip-flopper, give me a thumbs up. If it don't look like we got another flip-flopper, give me a thumbs down.
It only impacts the city of Chicago. It doesn't impact CTA, CPS, the Park District, or other entities, just the city of Chicago.
Mayor Brendan Johnson previously ran on not raising property taxes, though in a late August media briefing on the budget, he would not deny that he was considering a raise. Experts agree the current cuts will not be enough to solve the problem.
It is to send a signal that the city is serious about trimming its costs and that there's more and more painful news yet to come.
There is also recognition within City Hall that these changes will not be enough to make up for this insane budget gap. Budget hearings begin next month. City Council has until December to pass a budget that they feel is balanced. In the newsroom, Sabrina Franza, CBS News, Chicago.
Now, I think it's interesting, right? In this little news clip, they didn't really go over what they thought the root causes of this situation might be. Now, if you ask me, it's very easy. Right? It's very easy to point to what the root causes of this situation in Chicago might be. I'm gonna let you guys tell it in the comment section. What do you guys think that the root causes of this might be? This is an article from the Chicago Tribune, and it says Mayor Brandon Johnson enacts citywide hiring freeze ahead of a $1 billion budget gap. $1 billion. That's huge. Now, let me ask you guys this. What do you all think will be Brandon Johnson's chances of being elected mayor a second term? What do you guys think? All right. So now here it says Mayor Brandon Johnson on Monday issued a hiring freeze on city government positions, including police, as his administration faces a nearly $1 billion budget shortfall next year. Okay. That's a lot of money. A statement sent out by his budget office said, effective today, we are enacting a series of budgetary restrictions, including a citywide hiring freeze and stringent limitations on non-essential travel and overtime expenditures outside of public safety operations. Now, I got a question for you guys. How many of you all remember when this was going on in New York City? If you guys remember when this was going on in New York City, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't recall that when this was going on in New York City, then give me a thumbs down. The statement did not say how many vacant positions or how much the city expects to save, and probably because they haven't planned out that far. The statement did not elaborate on whether rank and file police department and fire department positions would be effective, and representatives from Johnson's office did not immediately provide further details. And why is that? Because we never see Brandon Johnson's administration provide detail. Right? We never see Brandon Johnson's administration give us details on anything. CPD's current academy class was already on city payroll when the hiring freeze went into effect. A police department spokesperson referred all questions about future academy classes to the mayor's office. The move comes as Johnson prepares for his second budget plan that he previewed last month as one that will entail sacrifices to close the fiscal shortfall. Now, you know what they didn't sacrifice? They didn't sacrifice any money on the migrant crisis. Can we say that? If you guys would agree, they didn't sacrifice any money on the migrant crisis, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree and say, wait a minute, Rob, you're being unfair, well, then give me a thumbs down. Along with a new projection of a $223 million budget gap at the end of the current year. But his administration will need to come up with more solutions to raise revenues or cut costs in order to plug the hole. Okay? It's kind of, pause, right? Johnson's budget team has not publicly elaborated on what those sacrifices could entail, including whether raising property taxes is on the table. Now, remember, Johnson said that that's something that he would not do. Now, what is that going to do to him if he ends up raising property taxes against what he said he was going to do before. Monday's memo will likely be the first of many belt-tightening moves to close the gap. Budget Director Annette Guzman has said departments will also be asked to reduce other discretionary spending through the end of 2024. Factors contributing to the yawning budget holes include declines in revenue, rising labor costs, and a $175 million pension payment for non-teaching staff at Chicago schools that the school district is declining to take on. Now, what's interesting about this is that they didn't list the migrant crisis. They didn't list the migrant crisis in here to contributing to this at all. And we've all been tracking that. You can see the information on this channel. You know what I'm saying? The mayor is expected to recommend to the city council in October. He will then have until the end of the year to convince at least 26 to 50 aldermen to support the plan or make changes to get the majority he needs. It's not clear how long the hiring freeze will last. In 2019, former Mayor Lori Lightfoot also implemented a citywide hiring freeze ahead of her first budget plan that too faced a looming deficit. At the time, the police department was staffed with about 13,400 total officers, the largest roster since the 2000s. So again, there you go. As far as the police go, look what Democrats do in a Democrat city with the police. So this is what I'm saying about understanding things and having an ideological understanding of what these people do. Cutting the police or defunding the police, that would ideologically be something that conservatives would do, because conservatives believe in shrinking the government. The police are part of the government. There will never be a Democrat that defunds the police. It's just a talking point. It ideologically goes against leftist politics, defunding the police. Leftists don't defund the government. Leftists fund the government, which is why you get a lot of taxes. And this has nothing to do with partisan politics. This has to do with ideological understanding. If you guys would agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree with that, then give me a thumbs down. So when a Democrat says they want to defund the police, that's a trick bag. The same way we explained in the Black Voter Monolith stream yesterday, when a leftist says that they have reparations on their platform, you have to ask them, well, how does that work in an equity equality model? It's not compatible. It's like saying go to a Christian church and get down on your knees and pray to Satan. It doesn't make sense. You can say it, but the question is, does it make sense? Is anybody going to take you to task on it? And if nobody takes you to task on it, then people will get away with saying anything. And that's what we see. We see a cycle of people saying anything, getting away with anything. And that is one of the ways that the gerbil wheel continues to have the kinetic energy that keeps it in motion and keeps the people who are inside of it going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says that number has dwindled to 11,700 as of this July. However, following considerable police attrition starting around the C-19 pandemic, Johnson ran for mayor as a progressive who first challenged the amount of police spending in Chicago, but later the runoff vowed not to cut the police department budget by 1 penny. So again, as much as people may not like what I'm saying, gotta ask the question all the time, am I lying? And honestly, I believe that is why people do not like what I say, because I am not lying. People want to be lied to. Shout out to Roots Trackers. What's good with it? His budget plan for 2024 follows that edict, slightly raising the police budget to about $2 billion this year, right in line and parallel with leftist politics. Okay? How many examples of this kind of stuff do we got to go through? Whatever he chooses with public safety spending this year will surely be a contested debate among a city council that runs from the gamut from defund the police and staunchly pro-law enforcement aldermen. However, because you guys know, shout out to Anthony Beale, right? Anthony Beale, he's all about it. And the thing is, I honestly think that the people of Chicago are actually all about it too. Because when we went over that thing with the shot spotter, you know, I was kind of shocked that Anthony Beale was in support of that, but he had a lot of people on his side. And Anthony Beale is one of the guys that is actually a Democrat that has stood up against the migrant crisis. You know what I'm saying? And he's kind of been on the right side of things with the migrant crisis. So I kind of tend to trust his judgment a little more with that situation as far as the police go in Chicago. Me personally, you know how I feel about the police, but seeing Anthony Beale's performance, I would trust his judgment. and I'm not from Chicago, so being from an outside perspective, I really don't have the prescription to that problem just based on observation. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says over the summer, the city saw an incremental decrease in homicides for the third consecutive summer, though killings and non-facto shootings between June and August still outpaced pre-pandemic levels, according to a Tribune review of city violence data. Aldermen present at the City Hall Monday when the hiring freeze announcement came said they were unsurprised by the news, though some were skeptical of applying it to police and fire department. Some of us have been waiting for this. We have known for some time that we had a very significant budget gap, said Alderman Matt O'Shea, 19th. But including police and fire personnel was unacceptable. Alderman Byron Shigo Lopez, 25th, a close Johnson ally, responded to questions about the hiring freeze by speaking broadly on the need to cut costs. And if you ask me, that's one of the Brandon Johnson strategies, is to quote unquote speak broadly about things. You know what I'm saying? He never really gives a lot of detail, if you notice. I think it is important that the city looks for every resource to ensure that we balance the budget without sacrificing important services for the city, especially not burdening working class families across the city that are already struggling to make ends meet, he said. Alderman Derek Curtis, 18th, said there is no reason the city should enact a hiring freeze that affects first responders. We already cut 2,000 members short at the Chicago Police Department, Curtis said. We don't need any more cuts. All right. So what I find interesting about this is that in this article from the Chicago Tribune, when discussing the budget and the budget deficit, not one mention of the migrant crisis. Would you guys agree? Isn't that bizarre? Isn't that odd? Not one mention of the migrant crisis. So you got to ask yourself the question, how accurate is that article? Shout out to Mr. King. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed that like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, we are getting close to that 500 subscribers. It would be great to reach that goal today. Hit the bell, subscribe to the channel. Come check us out every time you get a notification. We're going to talk about these. Actually, you know what? This is the wrong video. Hold on real quick. I'm going to push this to the back. Give me 1 second. Let's see. 1 second here. We're going to actually talk about Tren de Aragua real quick, all right? Tren de Aragua. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just get this pulled up real quick. All right. So you guys recall the report that came out about the crime in New York City, right? Where it said in New York City, I believe it was in Midtown, Manhattan, migrants are responsible for, if I'm not mistaken, 65% of the crime. You guys saw that, right? Now, this is a video here from News Nation that's talking about the Venezuelan gang confirmed in several states, Tren de Aragua. Now, we recently on Blacklight Revelations 1 talked about Tren de Aragua and the presence of them in Dallas, right? So they're going to do a multi-state report about Tren de Aragua sightings. Let's check it out.
What are you learning?
Yeah, hey, Nicole. So reporting on this gang isn't something that's new to News Nation. We've been covering Tren de Aragua, or TDA, since about January. And that was when they first made headlines because the gang was involved in the murder of a Florida police officer. And then they really made headlines when the murder of 22-year-old nursing student out of Georgia, Laken Riley, when she was killed. And the suspect, his brother, has direct ties to TDA. So now we're seeing these things crop up across the nation, and we're in several different states. Now, most recently, police in Prairie du Chien, it's a tiny rural town in Wisconsin with only about 5,300 people. Well, they are reporting that a 26-year-old actually assaulting a woman.
Again, so that particular crime, how many times are we going to hear about this particular type of crime? How many times are we going to hear about this particular type of crime?
in several different states. Now, most recently, police in Prairie du Chien, it's a tiny rural town in Wisconsin with only about 5,300 people. Well, they are reporting that a 26-year-old Venezuelan national, who you're looking at here on your screen, was arrested for physically and sexually assaulting a woman, and a juvenile female was also injured in that altercation. The department confirming that the suspect has a known affiliation to TDA. And in Texas, Dallas police confirming to News Nation the presence of the gang there as well, saying, quote, "We have had gang activity in the North Dallas area linked to the Tren de Aragua gang from Venezuela. Our department is collaborating with other agencies to address possible crimes linked to this and other gangs in our city." Now, this human smuggling scout, he's a...
You guys see this, right? You guys see this, right? So now let me ask you guys this question. All of this can't be misinformation. Now, here's another question for you guys, because you know we got the debate coming up tonight. Is any of this going to get brought up at the debate? How do you think that this will get addressed at the debate? And remember, Tren de Aragua is a Venezuelan prison gang. Remember, they took over the prison in Caracas. How do you get so many prisoners that a prison gang can form a multi-state organization in the United States? Somebody let me know. Shout out to everybody that's in here. I appreciate you guys. We got 20 people watching. If everybody could take a moment and smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, take a moment, hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. All right. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to my Rumble channel. If one of the mods could put the link to the Rumble channel in the chat, I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys go over there and subscribe. We got 21 people watching and we got 18 likes. Let's try to get the likes to 40.
With only about 5,300 people. Well, they are reporting that a 26-year-old Venezuelan national, who you're looking at here on your screen, was arrested for physically and sexually assaulting a woman, and a juvenile female was also injured in that altercation. The department confirming that the suspect has a known affiliation to TDA. And in Texas, Dallas police confirming to News Nation the presence of the gang there as well, saying, quote, "We have had gang activity in the North Dallas area linked to the Tren de Aragua gang from Venezuela. Our department is collaborating with other agencies to address possible crimes linked to this and other gangs in our city." Now, this is Texas DPS at the border arrested a confirmed TDA member working as a human smuggling scout. He's a 24-year-old. He actually had an ICE tracking device on him when he was arrested during a traffic stop. Texas DPS reporting the gang member was arrested a few days prior for another smuggling attempt, but he was...
So look, do you guys see the issue with the catch and release stuff? All of these guys that they catch and release, they catch and release, they catch and release, they all have past criminal records. Like, you could apply the same logic to dirty cops that harm unarmed black people, of how they have a past track record with these migrants who are criminal offenders. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So that is proof right there that paying attention to the record of behavior, right? The current behavior is the best predecessor, or the past behavior is the best predecessor of current and future behavior. This is one of the reasons why they don't care about the documents. But somehow when they arrest these people, magically they figure out all these gang ties, but at the same time have no documentation. So they got to be tracking them through tattoos or something like that. I don't know.
Was just released from ICE. Now, Colorado, meantime, has been disputing the claims that TDA gang members are, quote, taking over apartment complexes there, as you can see. However, they are not denying the presence of the gang, even creating task forces to combat the growing issue.
Now, we're going to talk about this apartment complex issue, because despite the fact that this new Haitian issue that's going on in Springfield, Ohio, has taken the scene in the immigration talks or the migrant talks, there's still some behind the scenes shadiness going on with this apartment complex right here. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Aspen Grove in Colorado. We're going to take a look at it immediately when we get done with this. Shout out to DC Precise. What's good with it, bro?
Aurora PD did, however, just arrest 4 Venezuelan nationals at an apartment complex with confirmed ties to, you guessed it, TDA. In the Denver area in July, an alleged TDA gang member was arrested in connection to a violent jewelry store heist in the city, where they are seen pulling out guns and even pistol whipping 2 women. So yes, the list continues on in New York. Meanwhile, New York PD's deputy commissioner saying that they have to open an international liaison post in Bogota, where they will be conducting a fact-finding mission surrounding the inner workings of TDA. At the end of July, an alert obtained through CBP sources shows that Tren de Aragua criminal organization members in the Denver area have been given a, quote, green light to fire on or attack law enforcement in Denver, Colorado. HSI New York reportedly receiving the same information.
I mean, that's why that right there, that in itself is just wild. That's just wild. I don't even know what to say. Like, like I said, I don't know why like the National Guard or something hasn't been deployed to deal with this situation. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Intelligence and source data suggesting there are more than 1,000 TDA members currently in the United States. We know there are at least 5,000 across the world. Congressman Tony Gonzalez has been sounding the alarm about this gang for months now, which is essentially Venezuela's cartel.
It means that we have to take this block by block, city by city, county by county. In Texas alone, there's 254 counties, and we have to take it serious in every single one of them. Whether it's West Texas, East Texas, South Texas, it doesn't matter because these people are here. These criminal gangs, these criminal elements are here.
So one of the issues that law enforcement are facing in some of these areas where this gang has been present, sanctuary city laws. That's because ICE cannot be involved. Local police, they frankly just don't have the access to the immigration records. That's something that Congressman Gonzalez is working to fix. DHS, though, did kick out an alert to agents with information on how to spot Tren de Aragua gang members. So look at these tattoos here. Tattoos ranging from Michael Jordan to trains, crowns, and guns, as well as others on the screen. So DHS has admitted to encountering and arresting at least 70 TDA members. TDA is the largest criminal organization in Venezuela. Its membership, as we've been reporting, of course, spreading to the United States, and they kind of have that green light to do that. Nicole.
Yeah. Thanks for.
All right, so there's that. All right, shout out to Shamika. What's good with it, Shamika? All right, so now next what we're going to do is we're going to travel to Colorado, all right? And we're going to take a look at what's going on with that apartment complex where it's alleged that Tren de Aragua got some shady stuff going on. All right. So I want you guys to first take a look at this headline here. All right. From the Denver Gazette. And what it says is Aurora officials heavily redact. Aurora officials heavily redact public documents related to landlord who claimed Venezuelan gang activity. Why would they do that? Shout out to the specialist. What's good with it, bro? Why would they do this if there's nothing to hide? Aurora officials heavily redacted. See this? Aurora officials heavily redacted public documents related to the eviction of the 300 people at Aspen Grove apartment complex last month, claiming the emails to and from the city and the landlord's lawyer, quote unquote, represented attorney work product. Okay. Under the Colorado Open Records Act, or CORA, government agencies can assert certain privileges to withhold information. Examples include proprietary information, personnel issues for a law enforcement investigation, or quote unquote work product such as drafts. Will Trackman, general counsel for Mountain States Legal Foundation, doesn't see how Aurora can claim a work product exemption on behalf of the landlord's attorney. I think this is troubling, Trackman said. For an email to be work product, Trackman said, it would have to contain the attorney's drafts or theories or impressions shared internally. Or said another way, the CORA exemption is designed to protect the thought process of the government entity's attorney. All right. So now what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to picture this, right? What the state of Colorado is doing is they're trying to hide what's going on in these documents. And they're basing that they want to hide it because it's the apartment complex's attorney's quote unquote work product. But it's not that attorney asking for that to be hidden. It's the government saying we want to hide this for him. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make any sense, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to James Sumler. What's good with it, bro? I don't think this is attorney work product, said Trackman, who reviewed the redactions. I don't think this holds up. Headquartered in Colorado, Mountain States Legal Foundation is a nonprofit law firm dedicated to defending and expanding constitutional rights since 1977. The coalition promotes the freedom of the press and open access to the government. So now, again, shout out to TD Media Group, right? Shout out to TD Media Group, the party who tells you that the other party is a threat to democracy, right? What party is the governor of Colorado from? They're trying to make sure that people don't have access to the information contained in these emails. They're trying to control the flow of information. You know what I'm saying? Having previously served in the U.S. Department of Education as a Deputy Assistant Secretary in the Office for Civil Rights and as General Counsel for the Douglas County Schools District, Trackman has been on both sides of Cora as a requester and as a custodian of records. In the wake of Aurora officials boarding up the Aspen Grove apartment complex last month, they cited health and safety issues as the reason. The Denver Gazette submitted several public requests for communication between the city and the landowner. Through a Florida PR firm, the company blamed the deteriorating conditions at Aspen Grove on gang activity, an allegation that the city officials initially denied and then later walked back. So now when they talk about the gang activity at Aspen Grove, I got to ask you guys in the comment section, what gang are they talking about here? What gang are they talking about here? As early as June, an attorney representing the landlords sent a flurry of letters obtained and authenticated by the Denver Gazette to police and state officials seeking help with the Venezuelan gang, which the lawyer had said had forcibly taken control of the property. Okay? As early as June, an attorney representing the landlords sent a flurry of letters obtained and authenticated by the Denver Gazette to police, state, and local officials seeking help with the Venezuelan gang, which the lawyer had said forcibly took control of the property. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed that like button, do me a favor. Please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. And if you know people that are interested in this type of information, please tag them in your share. The landlords also sought to hire off-duty police officers to provide security for the properties, a request that the Aurora Police Department declined. Okay? See that? The Denver Gazette's records request netted 38 emails. In all, Aurora officials redacted all but the salutations in 35 emails between Peter Schultz, Aurora's assistant city attorney, and the lawyer who represented CBZ management. That's a lot of redactions. That's a lot of redactions, isn't it? Why would they redact so much? As indicated in the redaction and the redaction log, all redactions were made based on attorney work product, Aurora's Cora official said in the city's online portal. The email chains are a back and forth negotiation between attorneys, one of which, Pete Schultz, is an attorney for the city. Okay. Aurora officials ultimately agreed. Now check this out. Aurora officials ultimately agreed to drop all charges against the owner of the Aspen Grove apartment complex in exchange for selling the property, leasing it, or a similar disposition, and assuming the cost to board up and secure the building. So nothing happened as a result of this. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? In exchange, the property owner agreed to waive his right to a speedy trial, and Gnome Partners LLC agreed to lease or sell the property and, among other things, pay up to $60,000 of the cost to clean up and secure the complex. Notably, the agreement said that the apartment owners may re-tenant the building, provided the building complies with the city code. So again, nothing happened as a result of any of this. Like literally nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? The agreement was signed on August 12th, a day before the city evicted about 300 residents and boarded up the property. Based in Brooklyn, CBZ Management operates rental apartments in New York and Colorado, with 11 properties in Denver, Aurora, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. 3 complexes owned by CBZ Management in Aurora affected by gangs, based on reports, include Whispering Pines, The Edge at Lowry, and Aspen Grove. Okay? Although the Denver Gazette requested emails from Aurora's code enforcement to CBZ Management dating back to January 1st, All the redacted exchanges were between August 5th and August 10th. Aurora officials charged the Denver Gazette $66 to review and redact 38 emails and a crime report. The 3-hour estimate means it took officials roughly 5 minutes to review and redact each document. Under Cora, government agencies can charge up to $41.37 an hour. The first hour is free. The law doesn't require those entities to outline the expenditures. Aurora officials didn't. An earlier request netted more than 2,100 emails that likely included duplicates. Aurora officials said they would charge $1,419 for the request at $33 an hour. The Denver Gazette submitted a new Cora to narrow down the documents to bring down the cost. What makes it so expensive, said Jeff Roberts, executive director of the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition of Colorado's public. It's what makes it so expensive, said Jeff Roberts, executive director of the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition of Colorado's public information law. Oftentimes, the retrieval fees under Cora, Robert and Trackman said, act as a deterrent to obtaining public information and holding the government accountable. See, that's why they charge so much. Lockout, blockout. If you don't have the money, more than likely you ain't gonna pay. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Unsunken One. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know what I'm about to ask. Hit that like button if y'all haven't. If y'all not subscribed, make sure y'all hit that bell twice, and also stream to your social media. All right. And also make sure that you guys watch old content when it's recommended on your homepage. So now here it says it decreases public transparency to have a statute that allows an agency to say, we're happy to give you the transparency, but you have to pay for it, Trackman said. It effectively chills the public's right to know. And the thing is that in a situation like this, where you have all of this shade behind this, the public absolutely deserves the right to know. The public absolutely deserves the right to know. If you guys agree that the public absolutely deserves the right to know, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. And also make sure you guys give DeAndre a thumbs up and some flames in the chat for enforcing the likes. Definitely appreciate it, bro. All right. So what we're about to do now is we're going to get into the stuff that we were talking about in the title. The Springfield, Ohio situation. How many people have heard about the Springfield, Ohio situation? Getting kind of crazy. All right. It's getting kind of crazy down there. Let's take a listen.
Today, the small city of Springfield, Ohio, found itself at the center of a fraught election year issue, immigration. Republican Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance claims that Haitian migrants in Springfield are, quote, draining social services and causing chaos. He's also repeated a baseless rumor, already debunked by city officials, about pets being abducted and eaten, a story amplified by right-wing media and Elon Musk online.
Over the last 4 years, Springfield has seen its small population grow by over 20%, driven almost entirely by immigrants. William Brangham recently went to Springfield to understand how the city is coping.
The sounds of Haitian Creole carrying across soccer fields, in grocery stores, in restaurants, dishing up the popular Haitian street food.
Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre says, Rob, how far are you from Springfield, Ohio? I'm pretty far, bro. If I'm not mistaken, I think Springfield, Ohio is like close to Central Ohio. I live in Northeast Ohio. You know what I'm saying?
Ate Code. It's striking, hearing all this in the heartland of the United States, Springfield, Ohio. Springfield's a small blue-collar city with a familiar story. Much of the factory work left decades ago, and the residents followed. A community of more than 80,000 emptied out to less than 60. That is, until the last few years.
Our churches, we see new people.
In the pews.
Yes, absolutely.
Wes Babian was the pastor at First Baptist Church for almost 20 years.
For years, we've lost people, but you hope somebody else will come and take their place. That hasn't happened here.
Until now.
Because there are folks from Haiti who are coming to church.
Lucas Merzus, who, among his many other jobs, mans the soundboard for Sunday services, is one of those new Haitian members.
Why Springfield?
Of all places. Merzus, with his wife and daughter, were among the first Haitian families to arrive here in 2018.
I got a decent job when I was in Haiti, and then
see. So now you guys heard what they said, right? They came here in 2018. So this has been going on since 2018, and nobody's been saying very much about it. Shout out to Fantizzi. What's good with it, bro? This has been going on since 2018, and not very much being said about it. Now, here goes my question for you guys. Why do you all think that this has been going on for so long with so little being said about it? Because clearly it's been going on. You know what I'm saying? It's been going on since 2018. They just said it in a report. Not too many people saying too much. Make sure you leave a comment after the video, Fantizzi, so I can rinse you up. Also, shout out to David Brown and James and I think Dwayne in here. You guys that have wrenches, unsunken one, make sure y'all leave comments so that I can get y'all wrenched up. Y'all know who y'all are. Whoever need a wrench, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all leave a comment.
To make a difficult decision to leave, it wasn't easy.
The reason they left is their home country is disintegrating. Protests and increasing violence in the Caribbean nation culminated in the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in 2021. Since then, the country spiraled. Armed gangs currently control 80% of...
They had your boy Barbecue right there. There's your boy Barbecue.
Armed gangs currently control 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Mersus is one of the estimated 731,000 Haitian immigrants now living in the United States.
I got my brothers and sisters, my mother still living there. I'm always thinking about my family in Haiti.
Because of that violence, the U.S. granted what's called temporary protected status to Haitians in the U.S., giving them limited time permission to live and work here. TPS was then expanded by the Biden administration.
So you guys see that, right? Who expanded TPS? Now, TPS expansion, what that did was it changed the definition of certain things that allowed a large number of people who were undocumented to have a permission to be able to stay in the United States for longer. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree that that's a true statement, give me a thumbs up. If that's a false statement and it's right-wing MAGA propaganda, well, then by all means, please make sure that you correct me with a correction statement in the comment section.
Mersus says he came to Springfield for the same reason most Haitians did. He heard that housing was cheap and jobs were plentiful.
It started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our.
So that's that. Listen to him. Listen. I'm just listening to this guy. Now, mind you, shout out to the people that's in the comment section. Shout out to the mods. If anybody wants to pull the racial demographic information of Springfield, Ohio, and put it in the chat so that I can post it up onto the screen, I would definitely appreciate it. So I want you guys to pay attention when he's comparing the workers, who he's talking about when he's comparing the worker. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to know. Shout out to James. James said, "Hey Rob, I need to know how I can get that Simpson song." Oh man. How could I get you the Simpson song? Join the Discord. If you know what I'm saying. Don't download the app though. Or on your phone or on your computer, just use a browser window and join the Discord. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably figure out a way to get it to you in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Tetra. So that's a great question for everybody to talk about in the chat, right? What is he implying? What is he implying? Let's see what he said. Let's do it again.
Most Haitians did. He heard that housing was cheap and jobs were plentiful.
It started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
McGregor.
Now, this is why I want everybody to grab the racial demographics, because you're going to see what he's talking about. Shout out to Shamika Gray. Shamika Gray says he's saying that Black Americans have a drug problem and don't show up for work. Believe it or not, I actually disagree. I got this feeling, you know, because I'm a native Ohioan. I got this feeling that there's probably more Black migrants in Springfield than there are Black Americans. But there's far more white people than any other group of people in Springfield. And that's why it's important to look up the racial demographics there. So and this is why I want everybody to make sure that we know exactly what this guy is talking about. So let's get those racial demographics and see who he's talking about. Because if you pay attention and look around at that factory, you don't see a lot of black people there. Where's some black people at? Right. Shout out to Unsunken One. If this is what I'm saying, if you know your Ohio, if you know your American regions, if you know your demographics, what do I always tell y'all? I'm a native Ohioan, born and bred. I only grew up for the most part around black people, black Americans, and white people. That's how it is in the Steel Belt. That's how it is in the Midwest. The Midwest, where I'm from, everything they've been saying is true about all the factories. It's like that literally everywhere. Everywhere's got a factory story. You can go out to Warren, Ohio, Lordstown, GM. You know what I'm saying? You can go out to Youngstown, Ohio, LTV Steel. LTV Steel left Ohio, left Cleveland too. That's the reason why they call the Pittsburgh team the Steelers, because the steel factories out there. You know what I'm saying? Go to Cleveland, they got Steel Yard Commons. You know what I'm saying? This is all real. So who is the majority of the workers that he's talking about? Who got the heroin epidemic problem? That's who he's talking about. That's who he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? But I want to confirm that with the racial demographics, though.
Acknowledges the sudden arrival of so many new immigrants is a challenge on multiple fronts. But he believes this is partly how the industrial Midwest can regrow.
We want more jobs in our community. And in order to fill those jobs, some jobs need to be people who are not originally from here.
There's things in the last 5 years that have really changed and has been a forward improvement for Springfield. But this is taxing the resources of the city. Well, afterwards,
Springfield Mayor Robb says he was cautiously optimistic when the first Haitians settled in town. But then their numbers quickly rose. The city estimates 12 to 15,000 Haitians are here now.
the infrastructure of the city, our safety forces, our hospitals, our schools. Springfield is a close community and has a big heart. But at the same point, we've had this influx that has taxed all these services.
The number of students needing English language help has...
All right, so I pulled up the racial demographics of Springfield. We're going to take a look at them real quick, and then we're going to get back to the video. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell yet, take a moment, hit that bell. All right. Now you see, hold on real quick. I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of that. All right. So you guys see here, race in Springfield. The majority race in Springfield is white, making up 80% of the residents. The next most common racial group is black, just like I said. You know what I'm saying? Making up only 10%. There are more white people in the northwest areas of the city. The people who identify as black are mostly living in the south places. The data below shows how many people identify themselves as each of the following races, which most Americans base on their family's national origin. Okay. So white, 80%. Hispanic, only 3%. Black, 10.3, because this is the Midwest. Midwest is the cousin of the South. You know what I'm saying? Asian is only 0.8%. Native Indigenous is only 0.1%, and other is 4.7%. And I would not doubt it that this other is probably higher as a result of the migrant crisis now. It could possibly be higher than the 10.3%. And that probably makes up a competitive amount with 10% of black people if a large concentration of those migrants are Haitian. And there's another concentration of migrants that's in Springfield, Ohio, called Mauritanians. Okay. So I want you guys to be very clear when this guy's talking about the people. There might be a small amount of black people in that population that he's talking about, but he's talking about majority white people. And this is why it's so important to make sure that that facts are nailed down. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important to make sure that facts are nailed down. So now I'm gonna ask you guys again, when that dude at the factory is talking about the work habits of the people in the community, at 80%, who are the people of that community? At 80%, who are the people in that community?
For jobs, what he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
So now, effectively, what he's saying is that the black migrants are better workers than the people of that community. The people of that community are white. Are we all acknowledging this and understanding that? If we're all acknowledging that and understanding that, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you guys disagree or think that I'm cooning, then throw some coons in the chat or a thumbs down.
McGregor acknowledges the sudden arrival of so many new immigrants is a challenge on multiple fronts, but he believes this is partly how the industrial Midwest can regrow.
We want more jobs in our community.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to AB, white people that love dog food. Now, somebody will say, oh, you're making a racial slur. You're saying you're associating white people with dogs. No, because if you know what dog food is, then you'll know that it was the manager of the factory that said that. The manager of the factory said that he's not used to employees without a drug problem. Dog food is heroin. If that's a fact, and this is honest information, give me a thumbs up. If that is not a fact, and I'm making this up, and this is paid right-wing MAGA propaganda brought to you by your favorite coon, give me a thumbs down.
Community. And in order to fill those jobs, some jobs need to be people who are not originally from here.
There's things in the last 5 years that have really changed and has been a forward improvement for Springfield, but this is taxing the resources of the city. Well, afterwards,
Springfield Mayor Robb says he was cautiously optimistic when the first Haitians settled in town, but then their numbers quickly rose. The city estimates 12 to 15,000 Haitians are here now.
the infrastructure of the city, our safety forces, our hospitals, our schools. Springfield is a close community and has a big heart, but at the same point, we've had this influx that has taxed all these services.
The number of students needing English language help has quadrupled in 5 years. Translators at the local health center cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And last year was the busiest year on record for the fire department. But it seemed that for the community at large, the increase in immigration and its stresses largely flew under the radar. A lot of that change.
Now, here's the question. Did it fly under the radar? Is that what happened? It flew under the radar, or was this stuff just purposely not talked about? No problem, bro. And anybody else is welcome to click on that Discord link as well. I got to approve you once you get into the Discord, but it won't take long. So just, you know what I'm saying? Don't just hang tight and I'll get it. All right. Yeah. So now if you take a look, right, I want you guys to take a look. Chicago, New York, and Denver. Denver's healthcare system almost collapsed. There's videos about that on this channel. How many people remember us talking about that? New York had a huge budget cut that they had to try to make. Right? Remember that. Now we got where we just talked about in Chicago, Brandon Johnson cutting the budget. Here's my question. With those cities as big as they are and the amount of money that they have available to them, what do you think something like this would do to a small town in Ohio? That's my question.
Last August. It was the very first day of school, and a school bus full of kids was coming down this road. A driver coming in the other direction came around that bend, said he was blinded by the sun. He clipped the bus, and the bus ended up in this ditch.
We begin with breaking news. Right now, multiple law enforcement agencies are on the scene of a deadly school bus crash.
Dozens of children were injured, and 11-year-old Aiden Clark died. When the driver was revealed to be a Haitian immigrant without a U.S. license, things erupted.
The majority of the Haitians here are low-skilled and they're illiterate. I want to know who's busing them in. Who's responsible for that, and who can stop them from coming?
Our concerns don't have anything to do with racism. They have to do with lack of affordable housing.
For the past few months, Springfield resident and former journalist William Monaghan has been a fixture at City Commission meetings. He helps run a Facebook group that's become a clearinghouse for locals' concerns about the Haitians, where people complain about everything from reckless driving to higher rents.
Do you shop in Springfield? No. Do you drive the streets of Springfield? No.
So now, do you guys remember? I've one thing that I've been consistent about talking about as far as the migrant crisis goes has been the impact on car insurance prices, and I don't understand how the insurance hasn't gone up. If you're giving undocumented people driver's licenses and they're able to drive cars, I don't know how these people are getting insured. And if they're getting insured, the insurance price has got to be sky high. So how are they paying for it? And what are they doing to deal with the uninsured migrant motorist situation that is now a reality as a result of any of this? Nobody has said anything. They haven't mentioned anything about it. But increasing car accidents has indeed been a huge, huge problem, especially down in a lot of border states. Down in a lot of border states where there's these high-speed chases of migrant caravans. All kinds of accidents and different things like that. Shout out to everybody watching, man. I appreciate you guys. We are on the 1-to-1 ratio right now. We got 27 people watching and we got 27 likes. That's what's up. Throw them hundreds in the chat. And also, if you haven't smashed that like button, take a moment, smash that like button. If you haven't hit the bell and subscribed, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. And if you've done all that and you're still enjoying the content, throw some flames in the chat.
Do you consider that Springfield is your home? No. Are your kids safe in school? No.
They're talking about, I got kicked out of my house because the rent went way up. My insurance has gone way up. I don't feel safe in the stores anymore. With maybe a couple exceptions, it's never a race issue. But they want to make it sound like a racial issue so they can demonize us and ignore our concerns.
This dude is just being a clown. I don't think anybody said anything as far as the Haitians go in Springfield as far as being a race issue. Anytime white people start harping on stuff like this, it's just white. This is what white guilt looks like. This is what guilt looks like. Nobody's even said anything about race. I thought there was no such thing as race. We're talking about nationalities here. If you were talking about any other group, we would be talking about that. Now, you want to know something racial about this crisis situation? Trump and all of these white people haven't said anything about the Romanian migrant crime rings that have been coming in through the northern border. That hasn't been mentioned at one Trump rally. It hasn't been mentioned anywhere. News Nation hasn't. Well, News Nation has actually touched it. You know what I'm saying? But Fox hasn't really talked about it much. There's been a Romanian crime ring in Texas stealing things. Nobody said anything about it. So all this babbling and sitting up here talking about race, nobody even thought about race until you decided to start bringing race up. Because, again, who's the people that's the race-obsessed people? Well, the ones who've enriched themselves based on the concept of race. So I don't think anybody has said anything about that. And in terms of quote-unquote racism, the only people that have been talked about in terms of racism with the migrant crisis is the treatment of the Haitian migrants by the Biden administration, not by any of the cities. So this is just babble. This is just Neander babble. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. And this is the stuff that people don't want to hear. Nobody cares about that. I don't care about you. I don't care about your white guilt. You got a problem with the migrants? It makes sense. Nobody said anything about race. We're talking about migrants. And this is what I'm saying about a lot of these people fail to understand the concept of race that their ancestors created. It's ridiculous. This is dumb. If you guys would agree that this is dumb, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree that this is not dumb, then give me a thumbs down.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real. Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You ain't got to convince me about no race issue. I'm very well versed and I know how to identify what. And I know that when people start babbling about race, it's their own guilt that's making them have verbal diarrhea. Because nobody said anything about that. Would you guys agree? And if you ask me, like the way that I just said that, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be said to people and said to their face to get people to understand, especially when people just start bringing this, like they start talking about this kind of stuff. Nobody said any of this stuff. So one of two things, either like stop or acknowledge that it's you who are part of the race obsessed issue. and stop trying to put it on other people because you have the privilege to not have to deal with the consequence of it. You know what I'm saying? It's time for people to start holding people to making people be mature.
Talentless, scandalous, plebiscite, babbling.
Shout out to PD that remains. What's good with it, bro? I mean, y'all can tell me if y'all disagree with me. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people really don't be disagreeing with me, because it's not like I'm gonna kick you out to chat or anything. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We'll talk about it and chop it up. You know what I'm saying? People be crashing out over disagreements. Y'all know I don't. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all disagree, like, nah, Rob, I ain't feeling what you're saying. You sounding crazy right now. Sometimes I be trying to sound crazy on purpose just to see if y'all say anything, and sometimes y'all still don't. You know what I'm saying?
These are valid concerns.
I have the same fears that you as mom and dads and grandma and grandpas and aunts and uncles have. I won't say this is a Haitian crisis. This is an immigrant crisis. It's the fact that we have so many people here and we have a culture clash.
Mayor Ruse says reckless driving is an issue, but there's been no uptick in crime.
Here's the issue, and I'm gonna tell you guys what the issue is. The issue is that white people are the ones that have the race issue. As a Black American, yes, we see Haitians as Black, but we understand that they're a different culture. It's literally the same way as a white American would look at a Russian from Russia, right? We understand that we're the same race, but culturally we might have some differences. There's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. It's not a crime. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? But white people have this race sensitivity where if they're talking about Haitians, they project this weirdness onto everybody, like, well, everybody's going to call me a racist because I'm criticizing this person because they're Haitian. Nobody's this is a problem that you all created that you all need to hash out and deal with, but don't project the problem that you created onto everybody else, because nobody's crashing out over this or calling it racist, except for, like they like to say all the time, Democrats. But see, the problem also is that white people and white media have fallen comfortable into merging the identity of Black people and Democrats. So now you have unresolved race issues as well as political entanglement that is too complicated for your simple minds to deal with. Not our problem. Not our problem. It's not our problem. And it's not our duty to have to make people feel comfortable because they have not had to deal with this kind of stuff. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We get it together, talk about this stuff, and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Crime related to the immigrant population. But with so many new arrivals, he says, the city needs help bolstering basic infrastructure.
We say we need help basically for translation services and safety forces. That's what we're looking at. Our hospitals need reinforcement.
In the meantime, local nonprofits like St. Vincent de Paul have stepped in. Here, people learn how to apply for jobs and how to navigate the city's computer system.
It's really important that when you file applications with immigration,
A translator and a local lawyer help this woman with her visa application. In a building across town, Vilas Dorsonville runs a support center that helps Haitians integrate into American life. He understands why so many new arrivals into an established community can create conflict.
They have the right to express themselves because we are living in a free speech world, whether it is from the Haitian side who are trying to fight jobs and opportunities, whether it is from the locals who are complaining because too many people are coming here. It's human being. We are expressing ourselves the way we feel, but at the end of the day, we have to fight our way out to live together.
But he says many Haitians would also return home if the violence subsided. Do you hope one day to go back to Haiti?
Yeah, hopefully. I can't wait. Hopefully.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. Is that a future problem that anybody that is living in this migrant, in any of these areas that have a lot of migrants, is that a problem in the future that people should pay attention to? The possibility of one day there being a great exodus and all of a sudden, like, the workforce just collapses because the workforce has been saturated with a lot of migrants. If you guys think that could possibly be a potential problem at some point that they should pay attention to and calculate the future for, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, then give me a thumbs down.
To go back to Haiti because I'm dreaming Haiti.
Dreaming Haiti, meaning at night while you're dreaming, you're there.
Yeah, I'm there. So still working, still trying to integrate, and then facing with challenges all the time in the US, but I'm also dreaming of my country.
Shout out to Jacoby. What's
For
good,
now,
bro?
the residents of Springfield, old and new, will continue writing the latest complicated chapter in the story of immigration in America.
Now, you know what is interesting about these Haitian migrants, and you know what's interesting about the other quote-unquote black migrants? Do you know what you guys don't hear about? You guys hear what you guys know? Do you guys know what you don't hear too much about? What you don't hear too much about is any African crime network or any Haitian crime networks. You don't hear too much about that. You don't hear very much about that. So now what we about to do next, hold on real quick. What we about to do next is we about to take a look at this. Hold on real quick. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Hold on 1 second. I got my tabs mixed up here. Okay. All right. Next, what we about to do is we about to take a look at this video from News Nation, and they're talking about the situation going on in Ohio as well. All right. Also, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't smashed that like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share this stream to your social media and tag somebody that you know that might be interested in this stuff.
Now is Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. Attorney General, thanks for your time this morning. These claims that Mills just pointed out that Haitian migrants are eating wildlife, people's pets, it's garnering millions of views and shares. Elon Musk also talking about it online. But city officials say they have received no credible reports of that actually being true. What are you hearing?
Well, I'm hearing the same thing as everyone else. But look, I trust the local police. The real issue here is how can a city grow by a third from immigration and know nothing about it? The federal government is.
I think that's a great question. Would you, if you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. How can a city grow by a third and people don't know anything about it? Like, that's kind of bizarre, right? That's kind of wild. How do you just not track that kind of stuff? How do you just not know? How do you just not see it? Yeah, shout out to Mr. King. The story is crazy. It's insane.
They grow by a third from immigration and know nothing about it. The federal government is not transparent. They don't talk about and share information with local communities about how many people are coming in or where they're going. They don't track them internally. They don't bring any resources. They have no planning. And here in Springfield, the city services, the schools, the healthcare system is groaning to the breaking point under the load. This could happen to any city in Ohio. It could happen to any city in America. We need a solution. We need it now.
Just to confirm, you say you trust city officials, so you don't think there are migrants actually eating animals, just to clarify.
I'm saying I don't have any independent information.
Okay.
So
okay.
Live and die by what I can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't prove beyond a reasonable doubt here. I'm not calling anybody a liar. I'm just declining to weigh in on something that the police are telling me is not an issue on their radar. What is on the radar is we had a fatal accident earlier this year by an immigrant who didn't know how to drive, wasn't licensed to drive here in America.
So again, do you guys see? I've been harping on this driver's license issue for forever, and nobody's saying anything about it. I've been harping on this driver's license issue forever, and nobody's been saying anything about it.
Police are telling me is not an issue on their radar. What is on the radar is we had a fatal accident earlier this year by an immigrant who didn't know how to drive, wasn't licensed to drive here in America, in Ohio. What we have for sure is too many people crowding into the healthcare system. We have too many people that may not even supposed to be here crowding into the schools, and the infrastructure of the city is like I said, groaning under the weight of it.
At a straining point. What, you released a statement asking for federal assistance. What exactly are you asking for, and what would actually help alleviate this kind of influx?
So as you guys can see, the story is it's the same. It's literally the same story. And you can track this same story across this channel. You can check this story out on Black Light Revelations 1. You can check this story out on Black Light Revelations 2. It's the same story all over the place. What ends up happening is that Now they're asking for assistance from the federal government. More than likely, the federal government is not going to give them enough money that's necessary to keep them sustainable, and you're going to start to see structural implosions. We've seen it in New York. We've seen it in Chicago. We've seen it in California. We've seen it in Denver. Why are we ignoring trends is the question. Why are we ignoring reality is the question. How many times do these points have to be proven? And then you just get shouted down. Somebody make it make sense. Please make sense of this.
One town.
Well, what the city's looking for, obviously, some additional money. What I've asked my staff to do is to try to protect Ohio from this happening in other places. You talked about, or your reporter talked about 42,000 people in Chicago. Well, that's a drop in the bucket in a city the size of Chicago. And they're even having problems with it. Imagine a small town, 58,000 people, and suddenly...
I said the same thing. I said the same thing. This is going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad. Shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. Throw them 100s in the chat. We keeping up with the 1-to-1 ratio. That's what's good. We got 32 people watching and we got 35 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button. Let's try to get it to 60.
You wake up and there's an extra 20,000 people and none of them speak the language. They all have a different culture. I'm not bashing them. This is not about who is coming. The question is how many and how.
Yeah, I imagine several different, parts of that city, different facets of the city feel like they're.
So now, talking about the population, right? Shout out to Unsunken One. You guys remember when we had the racial demographics up on the screen? This is what now do you guys see why I adjusted the racial demographics for saying it probably has bumped up that 4% number down there to be competitive with the 10% number? And if a lot of these people are from Mauritania and Haiti, that's going to bump up that black demographic on that 4% side of unknown. Consistent with what they're saying. Shout out to Sybil. What's good with it, Sybil?
They're at a breaking point right now with 20,000 in the last 4 years alone. Attorney General, thanks so much for joining me this morning. Dave, yes, we appreciate your time, and please keep us posted as you learn more as well on your end.
Now, Dave Yost, shout out to the people from Ohio. You'll see his name on the gas pumps and all that. That's the gas pump guy. You know how when you get the gas and it says that the gas has been weighted and verified by XYZ, that's the guy right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy. So according to Roland Martin, right, that makes me qualified to be able to talk about politics, I guess, because I know who these people are, right? I guess, right? So shout out to, I think it was DeAndre. Let me just go check real quick. Yeah, shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said, bro, they were at town hall meetings speaking on it. Yeah, we're going to check out these town hall meetings. All right, we're going to check out these town hall meetings. So this is an article that was put up by Blaze. All right. And they have some clips from the town hall meeting. All right. Without commentary. So we're going to take a listen to this and see exactly what they're talking about in terms of this. All right. So let's see what they got.
These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, y'all can be comfortable with this. I don't know, who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on the bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them Okay,
I would like to know how many of you sitting up there tonight go into the grocery stores here in the city, Walmart here in the city, to do your shopping. I'm going to tell you, 64 years old, and I don't know what kind of label you can put on this, but I'm taking my cart down the grocery aisle, and I have 3 immigrants strapped across the aisle. Seen me coming, would not budge, wouldn't even, and I said, excuse me. Maybe they didn't understand what I was saying, but I'm sure they understood that I was trying to get through that aisle. So I have no recourse now but to bust through it. I'm not afraid to do so. I would like to see them have some common respect, some common decency.
When folks stand up here and describe what is happening to them, they are often painted with a broad brush of racism. That has nothing to do with it. Color has nothing to do with what we're facing. It's culture. I have yet to be approached in a year's time, and none of us have. The core group that has been coming up here and trying to tell you what's going on, have never been approached. There's not a round table for us. There's a round table for the Immigration Accountability Task Force, which I've come to find out has nothing to do with us getting any better, but making it easy for you to be an immigrant. That round table should have started in November when this was brought to your attention. The core group that has been coming up here Tuesday after Tuesday have great ideas, and it won't cost the state a dime.
I really wish we could deal with this as a community, with the council instead of going through NAACP or, all this other rigmarole, because we are a community. But my experience at work, okay, I work IT for a living. I'm also a videographer. I do video editing. I have these Haitians along with Somali, Mexican, Spanish, I have them all. With the Haitians, they need extra attention because, in all honesty, the best way that I found to train them, and I'm saying this from a company point of view, okay, is most of them, if we would match them up to our life, it's going to be, they have a kindergarten to second grade education.
I feel like we have been invaded by some sort of pest. I'm angry that my friends and family are packing up and moving away. I'm angry that foreigners are using up the resources that were set up for the Americans that reside here. I'm angry that another country's flag was being flown in our city. I'm angry when I see our businesses and recreational areas littered.
No, this is funny when these people had this fake outrage about other countries' flags being flown in their city. But during Oktoberfest, you guys have no problem with the German flag being flown. And on St. Patrick's Day, you have no problem with the Irish flag being flown. Shut the hell up.
With garbage left by people that do not know or understand our laws and culture and are making no attempt to learn about them. And let me be clear, this is not about race. This is about people being given the privilege of coming here from another country.
There you go, right there. Anytime they say it's not about race, it's absolutely about race. Nobody said, if we're talking about let me ask you guys this. Immigration is probably the largest DEI pool in the world. Any immigrant can be anybody, right? So why is it that when white people start talking about immigration, the first thing they have to do is start talking about it's not about race babble? It's because in the back of their head, it is about race. And they think that everybody thinks like them. So they have to express to everybody that we're not talking about race. But you just outed yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you just outed yourself. You know what I mean?
And having no respect for our people, our land, or our life's work.
I'm done with what I'm seeing. It is so unsafe in my neighborhood anymore. I have the homeless that were trying to camp out, and I have made concessions with them, and I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property. But it is so unsafe. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard, and I can't. Look at me.
No, she's anyway, man. Where do we have any ring cam footage of any of this stuff? Some video, some recording, some tape. This is they might pull out an Oscar for this. You know what I'm saying? She's doing a real good job with the performance. But do we have any video footage, any actual documented proof of this extra stuff that they're talking about? That's my question. Okay, let's get it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Shout out to Unsunken One. Do you notice how the black guy didn't say anything about race? Hey, take lessons. Do you guys see how the black guy didn't say anything about race? I'm just saying. Oh, man.
I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to. My husband is elderly, and last night, after living in this home for 45 years, he said, Noelle, guess what? It's time to pack up and move. He said, we can't do this anymore. He said, it's killing both of us mentally. I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens.
Springfield has a long-term population of 57,910. I believe that was as of May of this year. It's hard to know the exact number, but all I count have a population of 20,000 newcomers. This has resulted in a number of issues. First and foremost is the driving situation. There have been firsthand reports of wrong-way drivers on one-way streets, drivers ignoring stop signs and red lights and other traffic issues. I'm sure that there are others here who have many more firsthand experiences with that situation. There is the impact on businesses having to deal with language, cultural differences. There is a strain on public resources, both governmental and private services, including health.
All right, so let's listen to the black guy not mention race one more time since it's restarted.
Are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how like y'all can be comfortable with this. Like I don't know like who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them like.
Hey, what did Jay-Z say? No headless chickens. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, what song was that on? Didn't Jay-Z say that? No headless chickens. What song was that when he said that? Oh man, what song was that, man? I know y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, what song was that? No headless chicken. You know what I'm saying? Girls. Oh man, that's wild, man. That's crazy. Jay-Z tried to warn us, man. Jay-Z tried to warn us. You know what I'm saying? Thousands of Haitian immigrants now in Springfield. 5 takeaways from our reporting. All right. This is an article from the Springfield News Sun. Immigrants from Haiti have poured into Springfield in the last 5 years, yet we're only now hearing about it. Oh man. Oh man. And the estimates grow monthly, with city officials now saying the number could be 15 to 20,000 new residents among a population that had numbered just under 60,000 prior. The number of immigrants has strained city government, healthcare, schools, social services, and nonprofits trying to provide assistance. All right, here are 5 takeaways from our reporting in the last 5 months about the Haitian community living in Springfield. Give me a second. Let me see. Am I subscribed to this? Hold on real quick. Give me 1 second. I thought I had a subscription here, but I'm not sure. Hold on. And if I don't have a subscription, I mean, we're going to have to come back to this. Or I could take care of it real quick. Hold on real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me just see. Thought I had a subscription on. Sorry about that, y'all. You know how it'd be like the internet erase your cookies or whatever after a certain amount of time? I think that's what happened because I was logged in. And I don't know what happened. Real quick, shout out to y'all for being in here. If y'all haven't smashed that like button yet, do me a favor, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment and hit that bell. All right, let me see something. Hopefully. Man, for real. Oh. Now it's saying my password don't work. Hold on real quick. Okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. Give me 1 second. Let's see. All right, yeah, we in there. Let's see, hold on. Yeah. All right, bet. All right, cool. All right, there we go right here. We good. All right, so now here it says thousands of Haitian immigrants now in Springfield. 5 takeaways from our reporting, all right? Immigrants from Haiti have poured into Springfield the last 5 years, and the estimates grow monthly, with city officials now saying the number could be 15,000 to 20,000 new residents among a population that had numbered just under 60,000 prior. The number of immigrants has strained the city government, healthcare, schools, social services, and nonprofits trying to provide assistance. Here are 5 takeaways from our reporting in the last 5 months about the Haitian community living in Springfield. Springfield is now saturated. All right. What do that mean? What do that mean that Springfield is now saturated? When they say Springfield is now saturated, what are they implying? And shout out to everybody watching, man. I appreciate you guys. We got 37 people watching and we got 43 likes. Let's try to get the likes up to 70. Mayor Robb told residents at the last commission meeting that the city did not know about the possibility of a large immigrant population coming, but said a network of businesses knew what was coming. How did a network of businesses know what was coming? How is that? How is that? Somebody make that make sense. He said the city's immigrant accountability response team that formed last fall has discovered the possibility companies knew they were going to make an effort to bring in individuals who were crossing the border. So now we got to ask this question. How is it that the mayor is saying that businesses there knew about this before the government knew about it? How is that possible? Rue said he was upset the city did not get a chance to plan for the immigrants. Springfield is now saturated, he said. So now let me ask you this. I mean, I don't understand. It's like, if they're not a sanctuary city, how can they just bring all these people there? So what this would say, right? What this would imply is that it don't matter if you're a sanctuary city or not. That's what that would imply, right? Let me see something real quick. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get this video to play. All right, hold on. All right. All right, hold on real quick. Yeah, so they got a video here. We about to take a look at this video real quick, and then we're gonna come back. All right, give me 1 more second, guys. I'm just waiting for this ad to play. All right, cool. All right, so now we about to get to it. All right, we about to get to it right now. So there go that. All right, let's get it.
Ohio is facing a significant housing crisis as thousands of Haitian migrants have arrived on their doorstep because of the federal government. The Haitian migrant population in the city has skyrocketed to an estimated 50 to 20,000. That is about 1/3 of the city's entire population.
So I want you guys to just like that, we looked at the racial demographics, right? So just like that, the Haitian population, they've surpassed the existing Black American population and all the other populations except for the white population in this city, right? Because remember, the Asian population was like 0.0, it was like 0.8%. Like the Native Indigenous was like 0.02. The Black population is 10%, right? So if 20,000 is greater than 10% of 60,000, which it is, then that means that the migrant population has skyrocketed to the second highest population in Springfield. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree that that math is accurate, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree and the math's not accurate, then give me a thumbs down.
JD Vance brought this to light during a hearing with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell.
What role do you see illegal immigration playing in driving up housing costs, which of course is a main driver of inflation for American citizens?
My sense is that in the long run, immigration is kind of neutral on inflation. In the short run, it may actually have helped.
In my conversations with folks in Springfield, it's not just housing. There are a whole host of ways in which this immigration problem, I think, is having very real human consequences.
Robb is the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, and Brian Heck is the city manager, and they both join me now. Good morning to you both. Mayor Rue, tell us what's going on in Springfield.
Well, what we've seen is just such a quick increase of our population over the last 5 years. You know, like you said, up to 15 to 20,000 immigrants have come across and into our community. This has overwhelmed our safety services and caused great concern for our community.
Brian, you're the city manager. Tell us more and how this influx is impacting the city.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for having us on this morning. You know, when we see a 25% increase over a 3-year period, we're a community, we do not have the capacity to sustain that. And it's taxing our infrastructure.
Oh man, it's just the same all over. Y'all know what to do when y'all hear the word unsustainable. Y'all know what to do when y'all hear the word unsustainable. It seems like it's the same story everywhere, doesn't it? It's the same story everywhere. Shout out to Cameron. What's good with you, bro?
Taxing public safety. It's taxing our schools. It's taxing healthcare. And as JD Vance spoke on, it's taxing our housing. We had a housing shortage well before this immigration crisis that's impacted our community. And this has just made it 100 times worse. And so it's setting communities like Springfield up to fail. And we do not have the capacity to sustain it. And without additional federal assistance or support, again, communities like Springfield will fail.
Yeah, Mayor Rue, you know, big cities like New York City, Chicago, they get a lot of attention when it comes to this issue. But these mid-sized cities like yours are really struggling here as well and are probably at even a greater disadvantage because the resources aren't there.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at the impact that it would be on our area like New York, if they would receive 700,000 people at once, that would be the impact that it's having on our area, the growth that it's had. And our safety services are exhausted because they're trying to care for the people in a safe manner. It's become just very difficult.
Yo, and shout out to everybody that's watching, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys are killing it. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. We still on the 1-to-1, man. Y'all are killing it. We got 43 people watching and we got 45 likes. Make sure y'all throw some 100s in the chat and some flames. Man, we've been on the 1-to-1 for a minute now. That's what's good. If y'all haven't shared the stream, do me a favor, take a moment and share the stream. And also, if you're not subscribed to Undocumented or Undocumented Bros, if one of the mods could put the links to those channels in the chat, make sure you guys take a moment and subscribe to those channels and check out the content over there as well.
This border crisis, the policy of this administration is failing cities like ours and taxing us beyond our limits.
Yeah, Brian, so what drew so many migrants, Haitian migrants, to Springfield in the first place? And now that they're here, they might not want to leave. What do you do?
Yeah, so, available jobs and affordable housing is what drew the Haitian migrants to our community in the first place. They're a very communal culture. And so once they come to a place and they find a place where there's jobs, housing, and so forth, they're going to tell more to come to Springfield, Ohio. And unfortunately, you mentioned federal funding and resources. Funding is tied to population, and these are not captured by the federal government. The influx of 15 to 20,000 is not captured in our community. And so our federal funding has actually been reduced over the last couple years. And so that's concerning to us as a community, because certainly adding 15 to 20,000 we need additional support. We need additional resources. And, frankly, the federal government, once they cross the border and come into our country, they do not know where they're going.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming to communities like Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, it's so true. So, Mayor Rue, how did you feel when Senator Vance brought up Springfield during that hearing with Jerome Powell? You're at least being heard by one person in the federal.
So now, shout out to everybody, right? I appreciate you guys. Just so you guys know what my plan is going forward. Once we get this channel to 500 subs, I will be putting undocumented clips on the channel. Okay. So there will be clips. It won't just be all live streams anymore. Once we get to 500 subs, there will be, clips, 5 to 15-minute clips from the live streams that will be put on the channel. All right. So we're trying to get that. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just one. Congressman Mike Turner as well has brought light to this. We were in Washington, D.C., pleading our case to the Department of Homeland Security. That's where we learned about this app that had no limit, that somebody could easily cross the border at that point. We were a bit shocked.
Now we've talked about this app. When he says we just found out about this app, do you guys know what the app is that he's talking about? If you guys know what the app is that he's talking about, put it in the comment section. And shout out to DeAndre and Cameron. Throw some flames in the chat for them for putting undocumented and undocumented bros in the chat. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to those links that DeAndre and Cameron just put in the chat.
It was for folks to come into the United States with very little accountability and, of course, no funding to help cities like ours.
Well, you're trying to do a whole lot with very little support. Thank you so much for joining us this morning to shed some light on what's going on in your community. Mayor Rue, Brian Heck, thank you. Have a great day.
Shout out to Coco Tinkerbell. Yeah, CBP1 app. That's exactly it. Yeah. There's a Senate meeting, a Senate hearing, I believe, online that you could take a look at with Josh Hawley, where he's discussing that CBP1 app. That's very problematic. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says officials are asking for help, and they always end up asking for help. We saw Brandon Johnson ask for help. We saw Eric Adams ask for help. We saw Mike Johnston in Denver ask for help. These people they're always asking for help. You know what I'm saying? The city of Springfield and Clark County government officials are seeking help from the state and federal levels. In April, Rue and two other Springfield officials, Brian Heck, city manager, and Jason Villa, deputy director of public safety and operations, went to Washington, D.C. to meet with representatives from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, United States Citizen and Immigration Services, and the U.S. Department of Labor to ask how the federal government can help. Okay. Now, again, I want to ask you guys, how many people know the answer to this question? Is Springfield, Ohio, a sanctuary city? Anybody know? If anybody knows if Springfield, Ohio is a sanctuary city, let us know. Okay. They also met with U.S. Representatives Mike Turner, who's a Republican from Dayton, who represents Springfield and the southern portion of Clark County. Turner has been critical of the Biden administration for expanding immigrant eligibility for temporary protected status, which he said opened the door for more migrants to come to Springfield without resources. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Would you agree with that or would you disagree? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with that, then give me a thumbs down. Okay. So now we should actually take a look at this article. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Okay. In May, a 3-person Clark County government delegation also went to Washington, D.C. to Clark County Commissioner Sasha Rittenhouse, Ethan Harris, Director of Community Development, and Alex Dietz, Deputy Director of Development, visited as part of the Dayton Development Coalition's annual fly-in, scheduling visits with the offices of lawmakers Republican Mike Carey and Senator Sherrod Brown and Senator J.D. Vance and Turner. The federal government has allowed them to come into our country, most of them here illegally, Rittenhouse said. Rittenhouse said the area needs financial assistance from the federal government for the needs. Now, let me ask you guys this. What is the likelihood that the federal government will oblige them and help them with this situation? You guys think that there's a high likelihood that that'll happen? Haitian-led community centers offers aid. All right. So there's a new Haitian community support center. All right. We could take a look at that too if you guys want to. I'm saying we can pull that up. See what they're talking about. All right. The new Haitian Community Help and Support Center is led by Haitian community leaders, which Haitian pastor and president of the community center board, Viles Dorsonville, said it gives a unique position. Okay. Many resources for Haitians are run by nonprofit and local government agencies. The center is a one-step shop for resources with its goal being to end the need for Haitians to visit organizations all over to find what they need. The center is at 1530 South Yellow Spring Street, and it sees a large number of people seeking services such as help setting up and maintaining accounts with Columbia Gas and Ohio Edison, obtaining food stamps, Medicaid work permit, and car insurance. How are they getting car insurance? How are these people insurable? I still don't understand that. The risk, I want to talk to a car insurance underwriter and ask them how the risk is calculated for undocumented migrant drivers. I'm so curious as to how they're doing those calculations and factoring in the rent and what is driving the premiums up to and how those people are paying for those premiums. Rose Thamer Joseph, the center secretary and board member, said, so maybe one of these days, if I get some extra time, I'll go down here and actually interview some people. What do you guys, would that be some stuff that you guys would like to see on the channel? If that's some type of content that you guys would be interested in seeing on the channel, give me a thumbs up. If it's not, give me a thumbs down. Most Haitians are here legally, making their way from a violent and gang-ruled island homeland to Mexico. Katie Kurish, senior attorney with Advocates for Basic Legal Equality, said many Haitians coming here go to Mexico and get a CBP-1, okay, mobile app that allows users to request appointments related to immigration. That allows them to be legally processed into the United States through what's called the parole program. All right. And you guys know that parole program is like the gateway for the temporary protected status. Okay. That's the gateway to the temporary protected status. They then typically obtain temporary protected status. There you go, right there. Temporary protected status, TPS, which allows them to temporarily stay in the country. Others may apply for asylum, which is evaluated based on a person's individual situation and if they were persecuted or have a fear of persecution, or for both TPS and asylum. Okay. So then they got this here. So we might actually just have to do another stream on this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we might have to do another stream. So what I'm gonna do, give me 1 second. I'm gonna just pull these to the back. These other articles here. All right. Let me see. Hold on. And we'll look at the Haitian Community Center next stream too. All right. So we'll just go as planned and then we'll do another one. All right. So if you guys are not subscribed and you're watching the channel and you're enjoying the content and you want to see more, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell. Make sure you hit the bell icon twice. And when we talk about this other stuff, you'll be able to join us again. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says this summer, Homeland Security officials extended the temporary legal status for Haitians already in the United States, which will allow hundreds of immigrants in Springfield and surrounding areas to apply to remain until February of 2026. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many people plan on watching the Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump debate tonight? Now, why am I asking that? I'm asking that to ask this. How is this going to get addressed? Or is it going to get addressed? Frequent city commissions topic. The surge of Haitian immigrants is a topic at every Springfield City Commission meeting. Some of the discussions have become heated, and you know those heated city council meetings be lit. The public comment portion of the meetings, which has been at the end of commission business, will be moved to the beginning portion of the meetings, starting with the next session on Tuesday. So we'll probably be covering that. All right. Mayor Rue said we're doing this to let the community know that public comments are our priority and we want to give energy to it. Unlike in Chicago, right? Unlike in Chicago, where Brandon Johnson tried to make it difficult for residents of Chicago to be able to attend the city council meetings. You guys remember that? Shout out to my man TD Media Group. That's why TD Media Group calls Brandon Johnson Emperor Brandon Johnson in the Republic of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So there's an article here from Fox dated September 9th, and they're talking about this influx of 20,000 Haitian migrants. All right. We're going to take a look at this, and some of this might be some footage because you see old boy right there. So it might be some repeats of what we saw before. All right.
That has nothing to do with it. Color has nothing to do with what we're facing. It's culture. I have yet to be approached in a year's time, and none of us have. The core group that has been coming up here and trying to tell you what's going on, have never been approached. I don't think any solution is going to come out of that. We could have started in October and we'd be well ahead. Shame on you.
All right. I'm 28 years old and I'm a social media influencer and I just be on TikTok and stuff. I do YouTube. I think it's like kind of odd that like a guy like me.
Hey, if y'all could find this dude, who he is, what his name is, maybe we could interview him. You know what I'm saying? Since he's down there in Springfield and get something going where we get like some direct communication down there, that'd be cool. So if y'all have ever seen this dude on YouTube or TikTok, like let me know. You know what I'm saying? Throw the info in the Discord and I'll try to reach out and see what we can do. All right.
Me has to come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun because I see what's going on in these streets and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits and I'm getting out here every day and I'm broadcasting this and you guys are just sitting up there in suits or something. Like I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into they flipping cars in the middle of the street. It's getting I'm getting thousands of views on these and it's going to get bigger and it's only going to get worse and y'all sitting up there in these chairs, all y'all need to get out here and do something. Y'all making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Y'all need to put on a t-shirt and some Crocs and then y'all need to come out here in these streets and y'all need to go out here and I'm out here before the police is. Like y'all need to do something, bro. Y'all really got to stand on business. Y'all getting paid all this money just to wear a suit and sit in a chair. I think it's crazy, bro. We got to do something, bro. It's kids out here getting hurt. Like, only reason I even went on here and said something about it is because somebody told me they walking from the school and a Haitian almost ran into them.
That I'm speaking of about illegal immigrants, fast tracking of illegal immigrants, people that jump the fence, and we give them a place to stay. Right? Illegal immigrants cost taxpayers billions of dollars. There are proper channels to which to become an American citizen. There's a line. Get in the back. There's been people waiting for years that are willing to go through the proper channels, society, not dependent on a handout from taxpayers. The only people that don't take the proper channels are people that would never make it through the front door, that don't deserve to be here. And take the opportunity away from somebody who does. The criminals, degenerates in other countries of becoming criminals and degenerates of other countries are becoming America's dependents. Over 1.5 million people have died in America's history in order to ensure the freedoms and the rights that we all enjoy every day. They died to ensure our freedom, not the whole world. Illegals do not get to get washed in the blood of our fallen soldiers because they don't want to fight for their own freedoms at home. I suggest that that, like Americans of past and present, they pick up arms and fight in their own countries for their freedoms.
What's interesting about it, right? What's interesting about it is that the United States is directly responsible for a lot of the issues going on in Haiti. And the people that are picking up arms and fighting to try to make things better there are the people that the American media are making to look like the bad guys. So maybe Woody from Toy Story might want to do some research, right?
Thank you. Okay, no clapping.
All right, so there's that. All right. So we're going to take a look at this article. All right. It says Ohio residents are fuming about the cultural clash between locals and Haitian migrants at city council meetings, demanding the city take action on the issue. Thousands of Haitians have arrived in Springfield since the C-19 pandemic, and residents have been pointing to an uptick in crime, mayhem, and car crashes due to the massive influx of new residents. And again, like I said, I don't understand, how is there no financial tracking on any of this car insurance information? Because that car insurance information will be an extremely useful piece of data. You know what I'm saying? And there's no information about that. It just doesn't make any sense. In a town of 58,000 people, about 20,000 Haitians have arrived, according to the city officials. So as you can see, 20,000 would bring this number up to 78,000, and it completely redistributes the population demographics. Okay. So you guys, this is what that the social media influencer here, what he said. And basically all they do here is just go into excuse me, just going into quoting what the people said at the city council meeting. So we don't need to go into any more of that. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this article from the local news. All right. And like I said, as you guys know, my content is more local news centered than national news centered, because as you guys know, what the national news will do is they'll take a local news story and say that the local news story is fake and right-wing propaganda if the local news story doesn't go with the narrative that the national news is talking about at that moment in time. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to take a look at this. There's probably going to be an ad, but it says Ohio town leadership is worried that immigration is putting strain on the city's resources. I think that if you ask me, it's just a given that if you're one of these cities that's dealing with this situation of migrant influx and is uncontrolled and completely unorganized by the government, your city or where you live
One
at
Ohio suburb
is always going to have an issue with this. It's going to always be an issue. It's going to always be an issue. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree that this will always be an issue, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree and you don't think that it'll always be an issue, give me a thumbs down.
One Ohio suburb is getting bigger, and it's got population growth stemming from the immigrant community. The mayor here in Springfield, Ohio, says that is taxing his city's resources.
I used to say that USA for me, it's you start again.
Joseph starting again in Springfield, Ohio. She left Haiti in 2020 as the country declined into chaos with virtually no working government and gang violence ruling the street.
There is a lot of security issues in Haiti, gunshot, kidnapping. Asian people are not safe in Haiti.
She came to the U.S. legally and spent a year in Miami before hearing about a more affordable life and plentiful jobs in the Midwest.
We heard a lot about work opportunities in Indiana and Ohio.
She's been in Springfield, a Dayton suburb, as a social worker for more than 2 years and connected with the Haitian community here.
Folks came here because they were looking for jobs.
Springfield's mayor says those immigrants are straining his
Shout out
city.
to everybody watching. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please do me a favor. Take a moment, hit that like button. We're getting close to our 500 subs that we need, which would be great if we could get that by the end of the day. Smash that like button. If you guys haven't hit the bell and you're watching, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and also please share this stream to your social media and tag people that you know who are interested in this information in your share. And also, if you've done all of the above and you're still here and you're still rocking with us and you're still enjoying the content, throw some flames, some radiation emoji in the chat to show people watching that you are enjoying the content. All right.
These resources.
But we're saying anywhere between 15 and 20,000 immigrants is what we're seeing within our community.
In a town of what population?
60,000.
Rob Rue says his police and fire departments are staffed for 60,000 people. He needs more cops and firefighters to handle the steadily increasing population.
We need to hire 10 to 15 more on each of the departments. So we're not budgeted for that. Our school systems are strained. Our healthcare system's strained.
Rue blames the country's immigration policies.
We're not picking on party. The policy's broke.
So now here's the question, right? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. What's good with it, bro? So the immigration policy. So here's my question for everybody in the chat. Everybody should be able to answer this. Who's directly responsible for the immigration policy that we have right now that has resulted in this large influx of these type of situations? Let me know in the chat what your answer.
The policy needs fixed, and it's hurting cities like ours.
Rue says it's not a lack of compassion. He says it's a lack of dollars behind his call for help.
If you were to come to our town, you would find people that actually care about the residents here, care about folks that actually are coming in the community, and we want to make sure they're taken care of. We've just been overwhelmed with this.
Rose Joseph says she and others in the Haitian community here are not trying to be a burden, just working to find a better life.
We are here to work. We are here to maybe start our life again.
The mayor tells me he's already been in touch with U.S. Senator J.D. Vance's office, and later this week has a meeting set up with U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown. On your side, in Springfield, I'm Tom Bosco, ABC 6.
All right, so there's that. All right, so we're going to take a look at another article from ABC 6 News. All right. Okay, you guys see the title here? Ohio residents plea for help amid migrant crisis. I want out of this town. This kind of stuff like this could implode an entire city. This is one of the reasons why when it came to Tren de Aragua and the gang activity that was going on in Denver, they want to try to keep it under wraps. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says several residents of Springfield, Ohio, last month decried the growing presence of migrants in their community during meetings of the Springfield City Commission. Okay. Springfield recently has taken center stage in the immigration debate as the city attempts to accommodate a significant influx of migrants from Haiti. All right. So now let me ask you guys this question. This isn't the only option that they have is to accommodate. They could kind of be like, I don't know. I don't think we can't afford you guys right now. Shout out to Tark. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to Tark for being a like enforcer. Yo, and also, like I said, anybody that is supposed to have a wrench and y'all know who y'all are, make sure y'all leave comments after the video so I can get to your name real quick and fix it. All right. A significant influx of migrants from Haiti. Senator J.D. Vance, a Republican from Ohio, drilled Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell in July over the potential economic repercussions of such a move. All right. And again, we've been tracking this stuff on this channel for a while now. We all know the economic repercussions of this move. This is unsustainable. So what happens with unsustainability? Collapse, budget cuts, crime, and everything else. Infrastructure decay for the most part, right? In my conversations with folks in Springfield, it's not just housing, the senator said. They are trying to build 5,000 new housing units, okay? Which is very Herculean talk in a town of about 55,000 people, but it's also hospital services and school services. There are a whole host of ways in which this immigrant problem, I think, is having very real human consequences. So again, we saw what this did to the Denver hospital system, right? What happened with the Denver hospital system? If you guys don't know and you're new to the channel, there's a video on here about it. One resident, who the commission referred to as Noel, told members during an August 13th meeting that she felt so unsafe, and that was the skinny lady, if you guys recall, that put on the Grammy Award performance, due to the numbers of homeless migrants arriving in their neighborhood. These individuals, she said, are often camped out on her lawn. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard, Noel said. All right. So then she goes on to say, look at me, I weigh 95 pounds. She said, I couldn't defend myself if I had to. Noelle said she and her husband decided to leave their home of 45 years due to the conditions created by the squatters. So again, now you guys see the squatter issue, right? Still getting close to October, and I still haven't had a chance to do a Box Bros video. But as you guys can see, the Box Bros and the undocumented bros go hand in hand, right? I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens, Noelle said. Who's protecting us if we're protecting them? Who's protecting me? I want out of this town, she added. Please give me a reason to stay. Lonnie Cole Jr. told the commission during an August 27th meeting he was frustrated. Hold on real quick, my bad. He was frustrated by the migrants who appeared to be circumventing U.S. immigration procedures. All right. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay. Now this is interesting. This is funny, right? Look at this right here. Biden struggles to remember defense secretary's name and refers to him as a black man instead. He's cooked. And how many people remember this? This lady right here, 42-year-old former mayor accused of raping minor 5 days after resigning. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was in Louisiana somewhere. If you guys are interested in that type of content, make sure you guys check out the Crimecast channel. If one of the mods in the chat could put the link to Crimecast in the chat, that'd be great. All right. So, let me let's see, because like I said, we already kind of deep into this. We could actually do we could actually do a part 2 of this, because there's actually some other stuff that I kind of want to talk about. So we're gonna take a look at this one situation that is not involving Springfield, Ohio, and then we'll either hit the rest of this up later on today. We'll hit the rest of this up either later on today or at some point tomorrow. All right. Let me see something real quick. Give me a sec. Okay. Let me see something. Is that? Okay. Is that? Okay. Okay. Now this is wild right here. All right. Now this is some undocumented bros crime. This is some undocumented bros crime. And we got 3 videos. All 3 videos are about the same thing. We're just going to see as much information as we can get out of them. But yeah, this is real interesting. And I'm curious as to if anybody heard about this particular situation. So when you guys hear this, if you guys heard of this situation, let me know in the chat.
It is day for 2 Nigerian brothers charged in a sextortion case that led to a Marquette teenager taking his own life, and will spend more than 17 years in prison for their roles in the online scheme. Thanks for joining us. I'm Damon Fernandez in for Devin Skillian.
I'm Kimberly Gill. 17-year-old Jordan DeMay sent sexually explicit images on Instagram to who he thought was a girl. When he couldn't pay $1,000 the crooks were asking for to keep the photos a secret, he committed suicide. I spoke with his mother today after the hearing. Tell me what your reaction is to the sentencing today.
Today was really a landmark day, and that someone is being held accountable for what happened to Jordan. No matter what sentence the judge would have given to these brothers, it doesn't change my life and that Jordan is not coming back. But they do have their time to serve for what they did to Jordan.
Minors. Today, first time criminals from Nigeria have been tracked, charged, and extradited to the U.S. to face charges. Jordan DeMay's father spoke to the media shortly after the hearing.
This is the message that the United States is not going to let this happen. The message is for the bad actors on the other side of the world who think they're going to hide behind the waters of our oceans is over. And we are going to do everything we can do to hold you accountable if you're going to participate in these things.
Both parents say the time is now to take action to protect our kids and our communities.
I think parents need to educate themselves about how social media works and really let it sink in that this is a scam that nobody is safe from. They need to have open conversations with their children that if anyone asks them for photos or money, that's a situation where they may need to go to adult and seek help. And also that these kids are the victims in this if they are targeted. They should not be ashamed to come forward and say, this is what I have going on. Can you please help me?
Jordan's case is still ongoing. There's One more person in Nigeria waiting to be extradited to the U.S. to face charges. And there are also 5 people here stateside in the United States who are involved. 4 in Georgia, 1 in Alabama. Their court hearings are coming up later this year. And you may remember, I sat down with Jordan's parents for an extended interview a year ago. You can watch it again tonight, streaming on Local 4 Plus and click on Detroit.com. It's called A Closer Look, the Jordan DeMay story. It airs tonight at 8. You can get the Local 4 Plus app in the same place you find Netflix and Hulu.
Kind of crazy, right? How many people heard of that story? If you guys had heard about that story prior to listening to it here, give me a thumbs up. If you guys had not heard about that story prior to hearing it here, then give me a thumbs down. That's kind of crazy. Actually, that's very crazy. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment, hit the bell, and subscribe to the channel. And also make sure you share the stream to your social media and tag people that you know that are interested in this type of information.
2 Nigerian men are headed to prison for running an international sextortion ring. They preyed on more than 100 people. ABC's Andrew Dimbert shows us how their scam led a Michigan teenager to take his own life.
This morning, a pair of Nigerian scammers are behind bars here in the U.S., convicted in an internet con that turned deadly.
They solicited and received a compromising image, and then they immediately turned to blackmail their victims, hounding for money, and even urge their victims to kill themselves if they couldn't pay.
Samuel and Samson Ogashi were found guilty of conspiracy to sexually exploit a minor after they extorted Michigan teenager Jordan DeMay. The 17-year-old homecoming king later took his own life, thrusting so-called sextortion into the national spotlight.
It started out with the supposed girl saying, "Hey, we have some friends in common."
The 2 men targeted DeMay by pretending to be a high school girl named Danny, eventually convincing DeMay to send explicit photos of himself. The scammers then demanded $1,000, threatening if he didn't pay, they would send those compromising photos to his friends and family. DeMay died by suicide just hours later.
When I think about the things that they said to him, it hurts me so bad as a mom to think about what he went through in the last hours.
But now some closure for DeMay's family. The Ogashi brothers yesterday were sentenced to 17 years in prison, the first conviction in an alleged sextortion ring involving more than 100 victims.
This is a serious threat that is only getting worse, and it can happen fast. We know that the time from initial contact to Jordan's passing was a mere 2 hours.
If you or anyone you know needs emotional support, you can always call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Crazy story, man. Crazy story. You know what I'm saying? Very crazy stuff. Very, 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 very crazy stuff. I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like how we always is where we always end up. You just don't even know what to say.
2 Nigerian men sentenced in the sextortion scheme that led to the suicide of a Michigan teen. 17-year-old Jordan DeMay of Marquette died in March of 2022 after investigators say brothers Samuel and Samson Ogashi pretended to be a young woman on social media, encouraging teen boys and young men like DeMay to send sexually explicit images before blackmailing their victims for money and threatening to send those photos to their friends, family, and classmates. The brothers pleaded guilty to conspiracy to sexually exploit minors. They were sentenced to 17 and a half years. After the proceedings, the prosecuting attorney shared why this case is so groundbreaking. TV5's James Felton joins us now with more. James?
Mark Totten, who is the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Michigan, called today a very significant day.
It sends a message to every criminal or would-be criminal around the world that wherever they are, we will chase them down and we will find them to hold them accountable.
Totten, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Michigan, was joined by Jordan DeMay's mother, father, and stepmother outside the federal courthouse in Marquette. In March 2022, 17-year-old Jordan died by suicide after falling victim to a sextortion scheme that Samuel and Samson Ogashi were part of. The Nigerian men who pled guilty to conspiracy to sexually exploit minors were sentenced to 17 and a half years in federal prison. Marquette County investigators believe the popular high school senior sent nude pictures of himself over Instagram in return for pictures sent to him. He thought he was talking with a teenage girl. It was a trap. The person on the other end demanded DeMay send $1,000 or the pictures would go to family and friends. But DeMay could only come up with $300. Hours later, he died by suicide.
Samuel and Samson Ogashi were part of a scheme that even encouraged Jordan DeMay to take his life when he could no longer give them money.
According to court records, this is the first time Nigerian nationals have been extradited to the U.S. to face justice as part of a sextortion scheme.
I think there has been a sense for a long time in some of these other countries.
It's the first time, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna go that extra mile to take care of a quote unquote heritage American. You know what I'm saying?
That you could commit these crimes and altogether escape justice. that you could hound victims, that you could pretend to be somebody you're not, that you could make demands about money, that you could encourage people to take their lives, and that you could be essentially immune from justice. What happens today makes very clear that if that day existed in the past, it does not exist anymore.
A third Nigerian national, Ezekiel Robert, is also charged in the sextortion scheme that resulted in the death of Jordan DeMay. A Nigerian court has ordered Robert to be extradited to the United States. He has appealed that decision, and the matter is before the High Nigerian Court. Back to you.
Thank you, James. U.S. Attorney Talkin also unsealed the federal indictment in a separate case against 5 defendants accused of facilitating that sextortion scheme. The men from Georgia and 1 from Alabama are accused of controlling the designated financial accounts for the scheme. Prosecutors allege they would keep a portion of the victim's money and then convert the rest into Bitcoin to send to an unindicted Nigerian co-conspirator who would then send it to the sextortionists. The 5 are accused of laundering more than $178,000. They're charged with conspiring to commit money laundering, which carries a maximum of 20 years. An arraignment will be scheduled in Grand Rapids in the coming weeks.
So there's that. There's that, ladies and gentlemen. So what did you think about that? That was a lot in 2 hours, wasn't it? I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Shout out to everybody coming through. We getting close to that 500. We making that push. Let's get it. Let's get there. Smash that like button if you haven't already. All right. Got more content coming. Make sure that you subscribe to all my other channels. Going to be talking about some stuff. And then we got the debate tonight. People talk about a lot of stuff on YouTube. But what we talk about over here is undocumented. And as always,